Hey there, everybody. I'm obviously an old man, but I'm a Reveluv too. So you can call me Old Man Reveluv, or you can just call me Matt if you want. That's fine too. What I'm going to start doing with this video series is I'm going to start breaking down and ranking all Red Velvet songs. Now, I gotta admit, I'm not an original, an OG Reveluv. I didn't discover them till about was it 2016, 2017? I think Ice Cream Cake was the very first one that I have. So I was amazed when I went back and listened to like Happiness and all of those other songs. But what I want to do is talk about why I love their production, why I love their vocals, and rank their songs in the order of my own personal preference. Now, I've already started doing that on my Patreon, which is completely free. The link will be down in the description. I ranked all of the Japanese release songs, not versions of like Peekaboo that are in Japanese or anything like that. I'm just going to do the original ones that were made specifically for Japanese releases. Before we get into starting with Happiness, their debut from 2014, I do want to tell you a bit about why I like Red Velvet so much. First of all, the overall concept. I mean, today groups have their lores, their backstories, their concepts. A lot of them have kind of borrowed their sound from Red Velvet. If you can hear my little thing rattling there, I'm going to put that down. They now do mix of summer and more R&B songs, and that's what the concept was. A Red song was brighter, happier. A Velvet song was sometimes darker, usually more R&B influenced. And I'm not sure before Red Velvet, because I'm still relatively new to K-pop. I haven't gone back and listened to any second generation groups, but I really think that Red Velvet is one of the best third generation groups and one of my favorite groups ever. I will defend them to the end. But I think that they're one of the best ones simply because they were able to give you such a variety of great songs. Another reason I really love Red Velvet is, of course, the amazing production. We expect this from SM Entertainment. They're always putting new things into their production. They're breaking ground with what they do. It's kind of expected. And however you feel about the company itself, I can understand that if you have some reservations about the way the company treats some of its talent or whatever. But there's one thing that you can never, ever slam them for, and that is their excellent production, from mixing to the way everything is arranged, to all the different kinds of things that they put in, to the kind of space that they give, to the kind of instruments that they choose to back up their vocalists. They just do an amazing job, and everything usually from a production standpoint with SM is really sublime. Here's another thing that I really love about Red Velvet. They all have very distinctive vocal timbres. By timbres, I mean the way that their voice sounds. Individually, they're all really good vocalists. Individually, they all have their own kind of sound. I love Joy's voice. There's a clean, pure tone there that sets her totally apart. This is what I mean by distinctive tones. Nobody else in this group sounds like Joy. Listen to the control that Irene has, and the timbre of her voice is darker than Joy's. It's one of the things that makes her and Yeri great blenders, which I'll talk about when we talk about Unison lines. Suki's voice is so clear and elegant, and when she chooses to use vibrato or not use vibrato is a magical experience. 처음에 설레임 빛나
지금은 어디쯤에 있는지.
Yeri's voice, another one of those great rounders. It helps everything blend. She's one of the great blenders, and she doesn't get near enough line distribution in my opinion, but I'd love to hear her sing more like this. I think Irene's a great rapper. I think Yeri's a great rapper, but I really like hearing Yeri sing. And then you have that girl. In my opinion, one of the best vocalists ever in K-pop. And the reason being is because I believe that she's a channeler. I believe that she allows music to come through her. She doesn't just perform music. She becomes music, is the best way to put it. And I've, as a touring musician, I've played with people like that. I'm not one of them. I was always the weakest member in whatever band I was playing in. But I played with people like this who it just becomes easy for them because it's almost like they're not doing all of the work anymore. And I don't mean to make it sound mystical or anything like that, but it kind of is. Some people just have this gift of opening themselves up to music and allowing it to flow through them and become part of them before it exits their mouth or their fingers or whatever they're doing. It's an insane experience to see somebody go through that. But you'll see it coming up right here. Well, already it's happening, but check this out after Irene delivers her line. One of Wendy's trademarks that gets me every time. When she does a fourth note of the scale and resolves it to the third, it's always perfect. I got to see Wendy live. That's what this shirt's from, in Chicago earlier this year, and I was blown away. Her band was fantastic too, but her command of music was incredible. And you can see it's effortless because the music is coming through her. She's kind of a conduit for what true musicality is. And that comes from years and years of practice. All these girls have practiced so much. That's what SM demands of its trainees. But that's just a whole other level. To me, not just the best voice in the third generation of K-pop, but one of the best voices in all of K-pop. Unison lines, when they all sing the same note together. Now, I'm not talking about when they do harmonies. That's when two different notes are being sung at the same time to create a pleasing harmony effect. I'm talking about unison lines, and there's a lot of them with Red Velvet, where they're all singing the exact same melody line together. And whoever came up with the idea of putting these 5 distinctive vocal timbres together and making them sing together to create a sound that's really bigger than the sum of its parts, that really gets everything to God tier sometimes. Whoever put these 5 voices together at SM was an absolute genius. Only 4 of them are singing there. But listen to how big that sound is. It sounds like there's 10 people singing. That's what I mean by those unison lines becoming bigger than the sum of their parts. Listen to that. Listen to that. Ignore the harmonies in the back. At this live performance, they are all singing the exact same melody line. And it's huge. It sounds so good. It doesn't sound like any one of them. it sounds like a whole other bigger thing. Back when I was in school a long time ago, my band director created this great visual for me. And that was that no matter what's happening with the rest of the band, when a section or whatever is playing the same notes, the same lines, the sound over your head, I mean, because you've got sounds coming at you from all sides, but the sound over your head always sounds just like this big pipe organ, because all of the timbres are coming together. And if it's done really well, or if the timbres blend together really well, then you get that organ sound. And this is kind of the equivalent of that. Their voices are making a whole different organism, bigger than their individual parts, bigger than that sum. The next thing that I always talk about, and everybody talks about with Red Velvet, is the harmonies. Now, part of that comes from the production. They do great arrangements of what harmonies will happen and everything. Those usually aren't decided by the girls. It's just one of those things that SM is very, very good at. And the harmonies in Red Velvet on every tune are glorious. Sometimes there's 3 parts, sometimes there's 4 parts. I don't even know, maybe sometimes there's 5-part harmonies that just really make everything sound so big and so pleasant. Doing those harmonies live, that isn't the backing tracks doing that. That's them. That's absolutely fantastic. Yes. What else do I love about Red Velvet? Well, insane ad-libs. Although I dispute the definition of ad-libs as the way it's used in the K-pop industry. Maybe at some point, whoever was doing the demo for songs or whatever was ad-libbing whatever counter lines that go above what the main melody is or the main harmony is, that separates itself out and complements or even allows the original idea to complement them as they're doing these, what I call counter lines. Ad-lib, by definition, is actually defined as unprepared. And most of the time, these counter lines and everything are very much prepared. Like I said, maybe in the demo stage, they were unprepared and whoever was writing the song just did something off the top of their head. But most of the time, they're very calculated. So I kind of have an issue with calling them ad-libs. However, I'm going to use that term simply because that's what everybody else does. But they're insane. The way Wendy goes over the top of things, the way Sugi goes over the top of things, the way Joy goes over the top of things, the way sometimes Yeri goes under everything to create a counter line. It's just absolutely amazing. That's what I'm talking about. We call them ad-libs, but all of those are calculated. And remember, they're doing this live. So that means they've already done the recording. So any kind of ad-lib that they are creating here, if they've already recorded it, it's no longer unprepared. It's prepared. That's why I have trouble with the term. But that's just me. So I'll get off my high horse now. Another thing that I love about Red Velvet, their pre-choruses and their bridges. I mean, 9 times out of 10, even if you aren't digging maybe what the verse is or even the concept or whatever, Red Velvet always seems to pick out songs that have amazing pre-choruses that set you up for the chorus, or amazing bridges that take you to a whole different place, breaking it down so that it can build up to that last chorus. Some of those are just absolutely insane. And listen to where this bridge goes. It brings everything to a whole different level.
멀리서 헤매지만 눈부시게 빛나 웃어봐도 활짝 꿈은 네 안에 있는 걸 짐살라빔 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 짐짐
I'm so lucky to have lived in this time when I could hear such great musicians make such fun music. Man, I'm a lucky dude. Something else I love about Red Velvet, they are B-side queens. Rarely will I listen to an album, a mini album, whatever, of Red Velvet and find that the title track is my favorite track on that album. I understand the catchiness of them. I understand why SM does what it does. But usually I'm more into the B-sides of Red Velvet. That's why I can't wait to get into this ranking, because it's going to be fun to try and pit some of my favorite songs against some of the title tracks and see where everything ends up. So, what am I doing with these videos? Well, I'm going to go through them. I'm going to be breaking them down. I'll be pausing a lot. If you're a person who likes to just have somebody sit there and make a stank face while they're listening to a song, I don't do that. I mean, you'll see me cry. You'll see me make stank faces and everything. But I do pause a lot. That's just the way it is. One, for copyright reasons. Two, because I want to tell you how I'm feeling about each moment of the song, which will help you understand why I come to the ranking that I do as we rank them. Speaking of which, again, I've already ranked all of the Japanese releases. Check that out on my Patreon. We're going to start with the debut for Happiness, despite the fact that I've also on Patreon ranked a couple of songs that were released before debut. One was the SM Rookies Windy song from an OST, and the other one was Sugi appearing on a Henry Lau album. So check all that out on Patreon. Let's get to listening to Happiness. Okay, so here is the list that I have so far. Once again, you can check out all of these reviews on my free Patreon, link in the description below. Wild Side, Marionette, Sappy, Cookie Jar, Snap Snap, Color of Love, the Windy pre-debut, Because I Love You, that was from an OST, and Swimming Pool, Because It's You, a Tai Tai, Butterfly, that was Sugi with Henry Lau, Jackpot, and Sayonara. So, where will Happiness go? We shall now find out.
Sometimes you gotta be bold.
Sugi.
Just rock the world. Booyah! La, 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 la.
Told you I was going to pause a lot. Right off the bat, I have this little melodica here that I will use as musical reference. Right off the bat, you find that the opening is not the key of the tune. It's just something thrown out on the top. It's like... right? That's in the key of D. But then the tune is actually... that's the key of B flat. It's easy for the girls to make that transition because it's just like substituting a G minor chord in D, if, you know, to go from one key to the next. It's a pretty easy transition for most singers. So it's still a technical marvel. I don't know why they did that, but I like it. This video is crazy. All of their videos are crazy. I don't try to analyze videos, folks. Irene and Wendy. I will say this about the video, and I know I'm pausing a lot, so you're probably not going to like me. But the little bouncing ball, I think, was a representation of Yeri because she wasn't debuting yet with them. I don't think she came till either Automatic or Ice Cream Cake. There was at least Be Natural before them. So why does it sound like it's going, it's starting far away and coming towards you? Part of it's volume increase. Part of it is a change of EQ, the equalization. They take all the highs out, or they take a lot of the mids out, depending on which way they did it. And then they slowly add them in as it builds, as the guitar builds with them. Here's one thing that I don't know about SM production, because you hear this a lot in all of their groups. You always hear a lower, almost sounding kind of male voice. And I don't know if that's because they're using some kind of pitch thing and then changing the formants a little bit of one of the girls here, or if there's actually a male singer who's brought in to do some of that stuff, or a producer that's brought in to do some of that stuff. I've never figured that out. I bet if you know, you'll let me know in the comments. Hi, Yuri. That's a 4, up to the flat 6. Oh, oh. So, just that little guitar line. I can't pick as fast as a guitar on this thing. That going over those chords is fantastic. There's another thing about this, and that's Sugi's voice sounds like it's coming from a tunnel, right? It sounds like she's projecting out. I love the way she's surrounded by flowers and everything in the video too. But that is something that you'll hear them do on Sugi a lot. Namely, one very controversial Red Velvet tune, Zimzalabim, in that, it's second verse? I don't remember. But yeah, it's there. Okay, back to it. Again with the EQ. Now it's back in. They even did that on the guitar. Again, SM production. Those risers going continually up. Perfect. It builds excitement. Little delay on that last line. The percussion, and I don't know what instrument it is. It almost sounds kind of like a high-pitched cowbell, but I doubt that's what it is. It's probably some more exotic auxiliary percussion. But its pitch blends perfectly with the key of the vocals, which makes it create this kind of tension and release all of the time. Wendy is one of the most celebrated vocalists in K-pop, especially for the third generation. I think she's one of the best vocalists of any generation of K-pop. I still don't know how SM does that kind of stuff, where they just raise the pitch up slowly. Producers out there, you will know. I'm not really a great producer. I'm just somebody who plays on people's stuff a lot of times. But man, it's intriguing to me how they do that. And which track did they use, or did they use a separate track? Did they have Wendy sing a second one where she held out the note as long as she could, and then they pitched that? Wow, fantastic production! What an excellent debut, right? Well, that was just flat extraordinary. So where am I going to rank this thing? That's the question. This is not my favorite Red Velvet song by any stretch of the imagination. You already see my list, and it's not going to go to number one on this. But man, what a strong debut. It's I don't know if people dug it or not, because I wasn't a Reveluv, and I wasn't even into K-pop until about 2016. And I was just kind of a casual fan until like the last 5 years. But man, really good. I wouldn't put it above Wild Side or Marionette or Sappy or Cookie Jar. I really dig Cookie Jar. Again, go to my Patreon to see my review of that. I really dig Sappy. Snap Snap is a really good tune. Color of Love is a really good tune. Wendy was extraordinary with that SM Rookies thing. I think I'm going to put it actually below Wendy's song. Oh, let's do all caps, shall we? Happiness. There we go. That is where I am putting it. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have suggestions for me as to how to present these things, please let me know. I promise I won't be spewing off for 20 minutes before we get to the song in most videos in the future. And again, on my Patreon, you can find all of my Japanese releases as well, where I reviewed each of them, sometimes 2 at a time, sometimes 3 at a time. And I hope that you enjoy them. Let me know by leaving a like or leaving a comment. And if you want to subscribe, I'm not going to, shun you for that, for sure. This has been Old Man Reveluv, clinging on to his fan light. We'll see you next time. What will be next? Let's see. Be Natural, I suppose, is next. See you then.